Jazakallah. Now I request all the participants to please mark their attendance in the attendance poll. We will formally begin with today's session in about 5 minutes.
Yes, please mark your attendance. You have 5 minutes. Yes, one more student to go, please. Mark your attendance. Yes, you can start, Aisha.
Ladies and gentlemen, in an increasingly digital world, mastering Google Apps and other web tools is essential for students to thrive in their academic and professional pursuits. Our series of webinars and hands-on training sessions are designed to equip participants with the knowledge and skills that are necessary to leverage their powerful tools to their fullest potential. Henceforth, by participating in these sessions, they will not only become proficient in using the tools, but also gain the confidence to apply them effectively in their daily routines, leading to an increased productivity, efficiency, and success. Last week, we had an outstanding session on Google Sheets under the mentorship of Mr. Azhar Munir Bhatti. And today, I am pleased to announce that we are joined by another honorable guest speaker, Ms. Habiba Ehsan, for an insightful session on Google Forms. Habiba Ehsan is a 2023 alumna of the undergraduate English Language and Literature program at NAML and a 2022 alumna of the first English Works cohort at NAML. She is currently working as an English language teacher at Siddiq Public Schools, focusing on areas like functional grammar, usage, and creative composition. The English Works program has made her more tech literate, polished her professional skills, and helped her gain confidence to speak with clarity and knowledge to students of all ages every day in her professional life. Ma'am, thank you for joining us today. I request you to please commence with your presentation.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for this really wonderful introduction. I'll share my screen right here. Let's start without further ado. Okay, I hope that my screen is visible and I hope that you guys can all hear me. Miram, is everything fine?
Oh, yes, we can hear you and the screen is visible.
Okay, so as my name is Habiba Ehsan and I am going to talk to you guys about how to use Google Forms. I'll try to cover all the aspects in that tool. I'll try to touch up on all of the things briefly so that you guys can have like a comprehensive introduction to how to use that tool. Now, as students, we can use that in surveys or in, events, just planning of events, any opportunity that you can find for data collection. Google Forms is a really great tool to use for that. What I'm going to talk about is how to access Google Forms. First off, we're going to start with that, and then I'm going to show you how to create one using a template and how to use just how to create one from scratch. And then we're going to go through all of the customization options. There's a lot of options for you to explore to make your form uniquely yours. Then we're going to talk about sharing access, which is a great, a great part of the Google Suite. All of the tools that are included in it are can be collaboratively worked on as well as shared with ease. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to start. I'll show you how when responses come, how it looks on the creator's side, and then we're going to connect the Google form to a Google Sheet, which, as I understand, you guys have had that session with another trainer a few days ago. And then we're going to do a small hands-on activity if we have time. And after that, we're going to go towards the question answers session. If you guys would have any questions, I'd hope that you guys could hold them off until that time. Or you guys could also drop them in the chat, and we'll discuss them once the time is there. Now, how to access Google Forms? That's the first thing that we're going to discuss. I hope that you guys can see. Just opening a new tab. I'm using my sister's laptop, so just opening a new tab and typing in Google Forms brings you to this. You have joined in from your own account. I hope that you guys can see my window is clear to you. There's your own account is open on your own laptop or your phone, so you don't need to sign into your account. You just need to type in Google Forms, and there we have this just the option just pops up over here. Now try forms for work. I have an account. I'll just get started. This is a long way. Oh, that's sorry, that's for workspace. That's for the workspace. For the individual, we just go to forms, and it pops up over here. Now there's an option to form a completely blank form, completely empty, where you can just start from zero. Then there are so many templates that we can discuss them in a few minutes. Another aspect, another way to open Google Forms is just go to your drive and then go to this new button, and here we have Google Forms. And for this we have blank form, blank quiz, and from a template you can do that. And that's another way to open a Google form. Now the other way to open them is over here from this button. This includes all of the Google apps. We scroll down, we see forms over here, and it brings you to that page, the landing page for Google Forms. Ms. Iram, do you mind if I turn off my camera, because I feel like the internet is lagging a bit?
Yes, sure, please.
Right, I'd like to do that. Okay. There we go. So as I said, blank form, and then lots of templates. Let's look at the templates first. There's so many ways that you can approach a Google form. What I do during my work currently, as I as the introduction said, I teach these days, so I make lots of worksheets and quizzes for my students, and for that I use this template, or the one that I have customized. Then we have contact information. Maybe you're a business and this is your feedback survey. You want to gather the contact information of your customers. You can just use that. RSVP to an event. You're organize an event and you don't know who's coming, who's not coming, what dates there are, anything you want to communicate to your kind of invitees. You can use that. Party invite is kind of the same genre. Then finding a time. Now, this is pretty fun because in large groups of friends, I hope, since you guys are all in university, I think, so in large groups of friends, there's always, a clash when you want to hang out. When you want to go on a trip, for example, maybe one weekend suits one friend, but that weekend does not suit another friend. Finding a time, you can, you can use this to find a time that everybody agrees on. That's a fun, sign up thing. Then there's a t-shirt sign up. If you want to, if you're making a t-shirt for a volunteer event and you want to just get the orders for it, how many t-shirts you need to get made, that's you can use that for it. Event registration, you're holding an event, people need to register for it. There's so much, like every template that's here serves a specific purpose, and it's so nice because for a beginner, I'd really recommend that you guys use these templates because they'll make your life a lot easier. Now, let's start. I said that we'll start, now that we know how to access Google Forms, the next part is creating one. So let's start by making an untitled form. Just a second. There we go. I opened this untitled form. Now, I discussed it with Miss Iram earlier, and she said that I could make any form that I liked. I've recently taught my students the topic of syllables, so I wanted to make a quiz out of that. There's a worksheet that I've already made. Guys, it's best if you can make a draft for your form in the form of a Google Doc first, and then you shift that Google Doc into, you turn that Google Doc into a form. It's much easier rather than typing out all of the questions inside the form. It's much easier to like make all the questions or whatever you want in a rough draft over here, and then just copy paste everything from your document to the form. I'm sorry, did somebody say anything? I couldn't hear. Anyway, so let's move on. I hope that nobody's saying anything. I'd really appreciate if you guys could mute your mics unless you're speaking. And if there's something really urgent, then obviously you can drop it in the chat.
Shazim,
Now,
please mute yourself. Shazim,
now
please.
let's start the form. Okay, I hope that that's sorted out.
Yes, please continue.
Okay, Ji. So, yeah, let's first off give our form a title. Like I said, I've already pasted everything. I've already like made a kind of draft on a Google Doc. So I'm just going to title my form, which is going to be syllables worksheet. This usually just, you type it over here and it goes over there. The Google Suite is really cool. Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna put that slide over there because this is disturbing me. Syllables worksheet, and my document, my draft document is going to go over there so I can access it easier. Now let's see how we can start. Okay, total marks. If I make it into a quiz form, then I'm gonna add total marks that will be automatically added to the form. But before that, let's just begin. I'm not going to add anything in this description, or I'm just gonna say that solve the worksheet to test your knowledge, something introductory. Now, something really fun that I can do here is, since my students are young, I'd really like to, just add a video or a picture, or, before going on to like starting the worksheet, I'd really like to add a piece of media here. So let's just add a small short introductory video. Syllables for kids. Let's see if we can find a short video that's easily, that's easy for the kids to understand. I think, okay, first grade. Yeah, let's just do this one. This 3-minute long video, I think it would look nice. The infographics looks good to me, so we're going to do that. Now, if you want to, this kind of bothers me because, it is on the side. If you want to align your piece of media, you could have added a picture here as well, right? But if you want to align this piece of media, what you can do is you go CTRL E. Oh, sorry, CTRL Shift E, and it goes to the center. Center alignment is better. Introductory video. I'm going to title it like that. Introductory video. And the kids can just watch it and, get refreshed. The topic can be, recalled into their current memory rather than the long-term memory. Anyway, if I wanted to add a photo here or a picture here, I could Google something, syllables, whatever I wanted to add in a photo. There's Chinese stuff coming here. I just want to show you how to add a photo. Now I've selected a photo, any general photo, and it goes here in a different section. That's how you can just add one, but I don't need one, so I'm gonna delete it. Now the introduction of our form has been created. Now we can come to questions. This plus sign here, this lets you add questions. I explained the use of the add image function. I explained the use of add video function. You can add videos using Google, like just add a video from YouTube or someplace, from your driver, anything, and also from your computer, from your local storage. Same goes with images. I did not, look at these. Upload a photo. You can upload it from your, from your computer. You can capture a photo of yourself using a webcam. URL, just paste a URL of the photo. From Google Photos, you can do that. From your Google Drive, you can, just include a photo. So there's so many different ways to go about it. Now, we've done this option, adding sections. I hope that you guys have seen those long Google Forms where each thing comes in a section. Like first they ask for your whole, bio data, and that's in a different section. Then they ask for your educational background. If you want to volunteer for something, or maybe when you were joining this society, you filled a Google form, right? So sometimes Google Forms can have sections. Now this whole section is going to appear on a different on a different web page. So you'll have to press next section to go to the next section. There will be a button here that will allow you to go to the next section. Let's use this because then you'll be able to see it from your end how it works. The introduction section, we can like separate that, and we can just add the questions in the next section. Now that option has been discussed. Importing questions. Now import questions option, it just means that you've already made another Google form and you can you want to add some questions from that. I don't have many on this account, so I'm not going to add any questions from that, but you can open another Google form and just add some questions from that Google form into your current Google form. Now this has many text options as well. You can just add something that doesn't need a response. If I wanted to add a whole introduction, maybe if this was a more complex topic and I wanted to just add some refresher points here, then there would have been like a title here and then a whole description here, where I could have formatted that as well according to my own preferences. But since we don't need that, the topic is really simple, and my students are really young, so they're not going to read that anyway, so we're not going to add that. Now, I think we've discussed almost all the options over here. There's lots of options over here as well. We could discuss them right now, or we could discuss them in the end. What would you prefer? I think just discuss them right now. Go over them and then we can use them. Customizing the theme. In the theme, there's text styles for headers, for questions, for texts. Every kind of text has its own text font and then the size, right? Then we have a header image. Now this is the image that you see as soon as you open your Google form. A lot of the times there's an image, maybe the logo of the organization that's conducting the survey or asking for recruitments or, asking for volunteers or things like that. Or it's just a random image related to the contents of the Google form. Now, these are the colors. Purple is the default color of the Google Forms, but I like blue, so I'm gonna turn it into blue. And then we can add a header image. Let's look for some fun images that could catch the eyes of the students. Okay, I could upload one from my computer. I could just search for a photo from my account, but since we don't have time for that, and the purpose is to just show you guys how to do it, I think these pills look a bit colorful. We could use these as well. That's the most eye-catching one that I can find. Birthday, wedding, night out. Yeah, let's just use those colorful pills. They look fun. All right. Now the header image, it goes right on top over here. There we go. And since that image has its own color scheme, the image, the kind of like interface of my Google form has also changed to accommodate that. If I want to change it, I can change it back, but this looks fun as well, so I'm gonna keep it. Now, this option we've discussed, that's the theme option. This is the preview option. Once you've made it and you don't want to send it to somebody, you just want to see how it could look from a user's perspective, then this is how it would look. Up till now, this is how it looks. And see the next button, I told you guys that the section is separate. When you want to like have separate sections for different aspects, different questions, different types of information, then you have to have this section. You use the section option. And for that, you have to use the next button to go to the next section. I hope that this has made some things clear. Now, this is the button that goes undo and redo. This works almost the same as, a regular Google Doc or Google Sheet or Google Slides. We have undo and redo buttons where you can just correct your mistakes, and if you don't want them corrected, do them back. Now, this send button is when you want to make your Google form live, when you want to start using it, when you're done with, you've done your whole form and you've completed making it, then you can send it. Now, there's many options here that we can use. Do not collect. First off, this collect email addresses. What this does is that it automatically records the email address that using which the person has filled the form. If you fill the form using your student email ID, then that will just go over here. If I want to verified, there's the option of verified that you want to add it, but you also want to verify whether this is the correct one. Responder input also, if that's the option that they can, that's the option that lets them just put it according to their preference, and it is not necessary. And do not collect is when it doesn't collect one. Now, send via email, the link is the most common option, and you can also embed it into a website or a blog or things like that. Any place on the internet you want to embed it somewhere, then that's also possible. This is where you get the link. The link is usually pretty long, so you can also shorten it for yourself, and you can just copy it, and then you can share it with people who need to fill it. Now, email, just enter the name or the email of the person who you want to fill this form, and just fill out the other details as well, and include the form in email. That's an option if you want to include that. Otherwise, the link or there will be a button there that will allow them to access the form. Now, this is the send option. What do we do over here? This allows you to use the form as a document. Make a copy of it. If I want to make a copy of it, I will just press this button. It will say copy of syllabus worksheet, and I can select which place I want to like put this copy in. So I'm just gonna select this here and my copy. This version of my Google form is just going to go over there. And since the folder, now that's an interesting point because we're gonna use it later on as well. I'm going to share my folder with you guys so you guys can use, you guys can make copies of the form for yourselves and customize it. So if the folder has been shared with some people with some email addresses, then then Google gives you the option to share the Google form with the same people who are who have access to the folder, or they can also be kind of disincluded, not included from the sharing option. So if I've made a copy of the Google form and I want to keep it a secret from the people who I've shared the folder with, the whole folder is with them, they have access to it. But this Google form, if I don't press this button, it will not be shared. This copy will not be shared with those people. Now, since I don't want to make a copy right now, I'll just have to delete it later because the form is incomplete. If I want to move it to trash, I don't want to use it anymore, get a pre-filled link. Now, a pre-filled link is a bit more, it's for like, complex surveys and things like that, where you can have the most common or the most like kind of easy or the most obvious things filled out. You can just get it filled. The person who creates the form can just have them filled. So the person who has to fill the form has less questions to answer. Now, if you want to print it, I can print it as well. Add collaborators. This is the sharing option that we need to discuss. Script editor, that's also a more complex option. We don't usually use it, so I'm not going to cover that. Get add-ons as well. Add-ons, they allow you to have a bit more, flexibility there. There's many add-ons for that as well. And keyboard shortcuts, it's your best friend while using Google Forms, because with keyboard shortcuts, you can just easily get to know how many, it tells you how many options you have over here using a keyboard. And you can also find all of those keyboard shortcuts to use. Like in the earlier part of the session, I told you guys that we can use this extension to align our media to the center. But if I like left alignment, I'll use this extension. And if I want right alignment, if I want the video pushed to the right or the picture pushed to the right, then I can use this one. And there's so many options that you can access from here. And this is a really good option for this is a really good like tool for a person who's new to using Google Forms. Now, I think we've discussed all of the options in this drop down menu. This is my account. I don't think that we need to use that. These have been covered before. This shows you the location of the current location of the form, and this also allows you to change the location of the form. Also, this allows you to star it so that it can be in your starred folder. When you're using Google Drive, there's starred. Yeah, there's a starred folder, so it allows you to easily access the work that you've done. Now, since all of the options around have been discussed, yeah, we should do that as well. Let's have a look at this. We have no responses right now, but once the responses start pouring in, we have like a really cool set of data over here that we can manipulate using linking to a sheet. We can link it to a sheet, and that's how we get we get many more options for to manipulate the data that you have gathered. Now, right now the form isn't live, so I'm gonna turn it off. I'm not accepting any responses on the form. So even if somebody has got the link, once they open the form, they're not going to be able to use it because they won't see any questions. The form will not be accepting any responses, and this message will be displayed to the respondents. But once I make it live, once I start accepting responses, then people will be able to use it. Now, settings. This is also a really cool place where we can see there's so many options. If I wanted to make this a quiz, I would press this button, and that would allow me to set answers for each question, set the correct answers for each question. That helps if you have objective type questions, not subjective type questions, because they need marking yourself. You have to give your attention to that. Otherwise, if it's an objective type question like an MCQ or matching columns or things like that, then the computer does it for you and it marks them for you, and the students can also or the people who are solving the form can also see their answers in real time. Now, we can assign point values to every question, how many points each question carries. We can set the answers to those questions and we can automatically provide feedback. We can just set some feedback and that will be automatically displayed to the people who haven't given the correct answers. Now, release the grades, there's two options for that. Once the students have solved the whole quiz, for example, then we can just release the grades immediately after submission. You might have had, an interaction with such a form, or you can also release the grades later after manual review. This is when the teacher wants to actually see your answers as well. If there's some subjective type answers over there, then this is the better option. Now, once, like, I've made this a quiz, so there's a whole world of other options here. If a question is missed, then respondents can see which questions were answered correctly. Then correct answers, once the whole quiz is solved, the respondents can see which answer was correct. Point values, every question, the points that it carries, how many points you got in that question. And then we can just set a global default. Every question has a set, score. Maybe 2 points for each question, maybe 1 point for each question. We can do that. Now, I don't want to make it a quiz, so I'll turn this off and all the options will disappear. Now, responses, how to manage how they're collected and how they're protected, and presentation, how the form and the responses are presented. Let's dive into those. Now, response. Collecting email addresses, this is the same thing that we have already discussed. We need to set this so that it just allows you to be more secure, because you can see that from each email address how many responses have come. You can see the times as well, and it's just good to have those email addresses with you. If you're making a client base, if you're making if you're just conducting a survey and you need those respondents information, so you can get that information for yourself for later, for follow-up surveys and stuff. Send responders a copy of their response. That's also an option. If I am collecting the responses, if I am collecting the email addresses, then the respondents can have this option that they can get a copy of their response. The things that they have answered, they can receive a copy of that in their email. Allow response editing. That's also possible. If let's say that a person has filled the whole survey, they filled out, I don't know, the recruitment form, but they wanted to change. They remember that they made a typo or they made a mistake, and they want to come back and edit their response. That can also be done. Then this is the option that limits a person to have only one response. Now, you want your students to solve the quiz only once, and there are ways around that, obviously, but one security measure that you can have is that from one email address, you can only get one response. However much they try, they can't respond again. Now, this is what we have discussed in the responses section, and after that, we have the presentation section. Now, how will the form look while the form is being filled by the person that is filling it? Show a progress bar. If I toggle this on, then it's going to show us a progress bar, and according to how much of the form the person has filled, right? And it'll show them how long, how much time until they're done with the whole form. If you hate forms like me, then that's a good option to have. And then hate filling forms, not making them. Shuffle question order. This is an interesting, cool little option as well. If you're making a quiz and you don't want you want to make it hard for the students to copy each other, then you can do this. The questions will be shuffled, and if they're cheating, then they can't so easily cheat, because they'll have to tell the contents of the question rather than the number of the question to each other. Now, showing the progress bar, let's turn it off. Let's turn this on, I think. The showing of the progress bar. Confirmation message. You can edit this once the form has been filled. Your response has been recorded. Like, we can just say that to them, and we can edit this message as well. Like, I don't want this message to go. I want to tell the students that you have successfully filled the worksheet. Filled the worksheet. Well done. There we go. That's what I can save, and that's a motivational message that they can get. Show linked to submit another response. Since I allowed apparently that this form allows them to give 2 responses, then I will turn on this this button, and that will automatically, after the form is filled, if they want to like fill it another time, they'll get an option. But I want to turn this off, so I'll toggle this off. View results summary. Now this is for more complex forms, for collecting surveys or things like that. You can show your responders the summary of the results that the form has kind of collected. But since I don't want to do that right now, I will not turn this on. Disable autosave for all respondents. A lot of the times it happens that you're filling out a form, and then you have to go away from your phone, from your device for a quick moment, and the progress is lost. So the progress that you made filling the form is lost. Now, if I want to allow them to save their responses, I will turn this over here like this. And now this is how it will not be disabled. So every person, whatever they have typed, it will be saved, whether they refresh the page, whether they open it after 5 days, the information that they put in the form will stay in the form. Defaults. Now, if I want to just remove all the settings that I've made, I'll just put it back to default, but that's not the option that this is. Actually, this is a default setting for collecting the email addresses. Now, we have said that we're gonna collect the email addresses, so we're going to have to toggle this on to verified. Question defaults. Setting applied to all new questions. Make question required by default. Now, there are 2 types of questions in Google Forms. One of them is like a simple regular question. You can skip it if you want to. If you don't want to skip it, then that's also fine. You can fill it out. But there are other questions that have a little red star next to them. And those are the questions that are required. And the form will not let you progress, and it will not let you submit successfully unless you put some information in them. All right, we've discussed the setting.
Please switch off your mics.
I think. All right. Yeah, so let's go back to the questions section. We've discussed the whole interface of the forms, all of the options. This little red, this little question mark, it helps you to get, this is the option to take a tour. If you're new to Google Forms, you can ask it to give you a tour of the tool, and some introductory, usage kind of lessons will be there. If you want to report a problem, there's help center. Training, you can actually get training to get it. So if anybody's interested in exploring this tool further, this is the option for them. They can get training from Google certified trainers, and it'll help them to it'll help you guys to get a more in-depth knowledge. Privacy policies, terms of service, we don't need to look at those. Let's move on. Now, where were we? Section 1 of 2, we made an introductory section with an introductory message and introductory video. After section 1, we are going to the next section, section 2, where we want to start putting in some questions. Now, the worksheet that I made, it's got really like a whole bunch of activities, and I don't think that we're gonna get enough time to include all of those. Let's just try to just incorporate all types of questions in the form. Ma'am, the azan is going on. Shall I take a short break while it's going on?
We can't. No, I think we can't hear the azan. It's not a disturbance. You may proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I want to put in this little question. I want to have them recall the things that we have discussed. So I'm going to put this in as a not required question. This is something that they can answer if they want to, but if they don't want to answer, that's also fine. But if they do answer and the answer is correct, then they will get an incentive from me in Monday's class. But if they don't, that's also fine. Now I'll just copy it from here, and I'll open my form. No. Now, let's name this section. We'll name this section the activities section. Activities. I want to make it all bold. There we go. Oh, activities is the right spelling. Anyway, no description needed. I don't think that it needs a description. I might add a picture later, or I might give you guys the chance to add a picture over here if you want to. Once the form is with you, I'll expect that you can add a bit of your own personal flair to it. Now I'll leave this open if you want to add a description or a photo. Now the first question. Let's get into the question making tab. This was the plus option that allowed you to add questions, right? But there's so many types of questions. There's multiple choice questions, MCQs. There's checkboxes where you can add, where you can select more than one answer in a multiple choice, a question. There is a drop down question in which you get a menu, a drop down menu of options, and you select the correct answer from there. Now there's these are the open-ended questions, the subjective type questions, short answer and paragraph. Short answer has a limited, like a character limit. I think the answer limit is, it was written over here somewhere. I think it's 50 characters, like not a lot, right? And if there's a paragraph, then you can have you can set the limit. You can set the limit. You have 300 characters or 400 characters limit. It has to be here. Once I need to make an answer like this, then I'll show you guys how to do that. File upload. You must have seen that if you're registering for a paid event and there's a Google form, they ask you to upload the receipt of the transaction that you made. Maybe if you're applying to a job or like a new volunteer position, they ask you to upload your CV. So that's the option that you can that you use to get that. Now there's a linear scale and multiple choice grid and checkbox grid. These are for people who are this is for like research type questions as well, because you see there's linear scale for questions like that. There's a lot of psychological surveys, for example, that use this type of question. How have you been feeling these days? Very good. And then the scale goes from very good to the right, from the right to very bad to the left. And you choose, good, neutral, things like that. We do that on our end of semester surveys as well, when they ask you how you liked a course and about your interaction with the teacher. You use this linear scale for that as well. Then there's multiple choice grid, where you have a whole bunch of like rows and columns that you can match. Now, if I want to select like if I want to make a match the column question, then I'll use this. After that, we have checkbox grid. There's a lot of options, and for this we can use we can select more than one option as well. Now, requires a response in each row. That's the row here. Now, date and time. If they ask you for your birthday, sometimes the form asks you for that, and that's how you put it over here. Time as well. You can sometimes they ask you for time as well in a question, and if you want to be that person who asks people for some kind of time, then this is the option that you're going to use. Now, we've discussed the questions as well. Let's add in a couple questions, and then I'll hand it over to you guys to use. Yeah, I think I'll hand it over to you guys to use, and I'll give you a short task. Now, what question shall I add? The first question that I wanted to add, it was a short answer. It has a really small response. The question is this. I've already copied it, so I'm going to paste it over here. The question was, what's the most important thing we learned about syllables in class? And there's a note for them. It says that if you give a correct answer, then you'll be rewarded for it. And this is, I'm going to put this question over here. If I want to add a relevant picture over here, maybe like a thinking emoji, but I'll leave that to you guys, right? You guys can help me do that when I gave you this to work on, a copy of this form to work on. Now the answer is going to be a short answer text, and this is not required because I want to keep it optional. Now let's make another question. I want to make another question. I'll add another question using the plus button. Now, what other questions shall I add? I can't see my, yeah, there we go. My worksheet. Okay, the first activity has count the syllables in it. Let's do this one. Count the number of syllables in each word below. So I'll add this as a question, and then I'll add the answers as options. This is going to be a short answer question, I think. Paste this over here, count the syllables. Now, I want for each word, I'll have to make a different one. So the first word was, I think, just a second, let me, because the screen share like thing appears on the screen, so I can't really access my, well, let's just add a word from my own. Screen is there. Screen is a word, and they can just answer the number of syllables over here. Then I don't want to go through the hassle of copy, paste, and all of that again. So I will just copy the question. I'll duplicate this question, and it gives me the same text. What I need to change is just this. If I want to add a second, like a second word, I'll just add a second word. I can also just remove this because once it's done, the second word could be sunglasses. Sunglasses. And they could answer over here. Then like so on and so forth. We could keep using this option to get more and more questions. Now let's add another activity, break the words. For this, I'll also need to use the short answer type of question. So I'm not going to do this. Spot the tricky words. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's do this one because this has this. For this, we'll have to use the select multiple option, select multiple type of question. Let's make that first. Adding a new question. And this type of question does not have multiple choice. It has the checkbox option. Now, activity 3 says spot the tricky words. I'll copy this. I'll put this in the question section. And I hope that you guys can see that the formatting that I had in the Google Doc, this same formatting is there. The same text size, the bold, the underline, whatever I had, it just copies the whole text with the formatting. So it's easier, like I said, it's easier to make a draft in a Google Doc and then put it here, because here the formatting becomes a really tricky thing. You can't change the text size. You only have these options and that's it. So it's a bit of it's a bit of a hassle to do the editing over here, to make it completely from scratch over here. And if you don't like the formatting, there's this option that you can just turn on to remove the formatting. What you can also do is, I hope that in the Google, you guys know how to use Google Docs. So there's an option to do it without formatting, pasting as plain text as well. Anyway, spotting the tricky words, select the one syllable words among the list below. So we'll just add in all the words that we had. I think that's how we do it. The Google Form interface, it allows you to add options like this. I added a list of options and I didn't have to press add option, add option, add option again and again. I just pasted the whole list over here and the whole list Yeah, it just gets formatted really easily and smoothly into this answerable, really easy thing, this really easy question activity. Now, this is a required question. All of these questions that I added after that are required ones. See, there's a little star on the top. This one is not required. I'll make it a required question. Oh, it is required. Wherever you see the little star, it means that it's required. Okay, it's almost 5. I'll be finishing up. I'll try to add a couple more options and I'll be finishing up after that so that I can share a copy of the form and you guys can make it. Okay, yeah, I need to explain how to share. Oh yeah, I think I should do that. This is the form. This is how it looks right now at this moment in time. If we see it from the viewer's perspective, this is how it's going to be. It's no longer accepting responses. Yeah, so we need to turn on the response. I am collecting responses right now. Now let's preview it again. If we go here and reload it, then it's going to be collecting responses. See, it allows me, it's asking me to like confirm that this is the account that I'm filling the worksheet with. I'm filling the Google form with. Then email, I have to record this email as the email attached with my response. It will go in that sheet, in that response sheet. Introductory video, I want to play it. I can play it. Now, welcome. I will not play it. Then let's go to the next section. Oh, I didn't check it. Let's check it. See, it was required, so it didn't allow me to move forward unless I've checked it. Then let's move forward. This is now the second section. The section heading goes here, and then like just the refresher that I wanted to answer. Now, this is not required. I can type in whatever I want. Single vowel sound is what I want from the students. A single vowel sound. A syllable has a single vowel sound is the most important thing that we learned. So if a student answers this, I will consider it correct. Now, counting the syllables, I have a question over here. I'll answer it. And now with this activity, I can select however many, words I want. Mirror, I'm going to select a wrong one, select a couple of the correct ones, and so on. Anyway, now this is how the form is going to look to people who are filling it. But now I want you guys to work on it with me. And for that, I want to share it with you. Now, since we know that Google allows collaborative working, just collaboration on projects, I want to add collaborators. Now, I can add collaborators using the same link as I am using to ask people to fill it. The filling and the collaborating link are going to be the same. Responder link, it's the same link. Responder link, people will get only one link, and that's the responder link, which will allow them to respond to the Google form. But if I want to add somebody, I want them to work on the Google form with me, I'll add Miss Iram, and I'll notify her that I shared the form with you. She will get she will be an editor with me on this form, and she will be able to view, delete form responses. She'll get the same link as everybody else, but once she gets the link, she will receive this. Let me see over here. There's a small button that appears. Yeah, see, she will have this little button over here. Everybody else will not have this button, or they will have this button, but this button will not say edit this form. If I put my cursor over here, it says edit this form. I am the owner of the form. I can edit it. Miss Iram is an editor on this form, so she can edit it as well. But if the rest of the people will get this button, and it will say request edit access. If you're not an editor on the form, but you want to get a copy of it from the owner, or you want to edit it, there's a need for that, right? You feel the need for that, and you want to edit it, then you're going to press this button, request edit access, and it's going to send a request to the owner of the form, the person who made the form, the person whose Google Drive contains the form, right? And they're going to get an email from you, from your email, and asking to be allowed to edit the form. But that's how you, the link is the same. I want to stress that the link for sharing and for editing is the same. But the same link allows you to add collaborators as well. Now, another way to add a collaborator, this is the option where I only allow some restricted people who can open this link and edit it, who can open this link and edit the Google form. I can also do this. Anyone with the link can edit. Now, if I just drop the link of the form anywhere in any random WhatsApp group chat or in this Google, Zoom group chat, you guys, everybody will be able to edit this form. Everybody will be able to make changes to it as well as filling it. So you'll be able to do both of those things. I'm going to use this because I can't add everybody's individual email addresses. I will copy the responder link and you guys will all have access to edit it. But now I don't want people to, all gather on one form and then make a mess of it. So what I want you to do is make a copy of it in your own Google Drive. What you can do is you will get the access to use it, right? I'll just, I don't know how to demonstrate that. You will get a link to it, right? Just listen right now. You'll get a link to edit it. So let's just type that link. I have copied the link, right? So the link is going to be over here. Let me open a new tab. Can I open a new tab from this section? I can't. Let's do something like this. I'll make the window shorter. All right, adding a new tab. I'll add a new tab and in this, I'll paste the link that I got. Now this is the link of the form. I have access. Now everybody has access. You have access. I can edit this form. But before I edit this form, I don't want to edit this draft. What I can do is this form is in my Google Drive. What you can do is you can do this. It's gonna be over here, right? I didn't make it over here. I think I didn't change the location of it. Let me just quickly change the location of it first. I have to move it to the folder that I made for this workshop. Select the location to show the folder path. Wait. Current location is my drive, right? I want to add it to this folder. It's moved there. Now I want to make a copy of it. I have gotten this, but I don't want to ruin the creator's copy. So I'll make a copy of it for myself. I'll make a copy of it for myself. I'll move it to my own drive and I'll just put it in whichever folder I want to put it. And then I'll work on it. I want you guys to use the make a copy function to work on the form. Then that will allow you to individually work on your own copy of it rather than making a mess by everybody, where everybody is working on the same copy of the Google form and it will make a mess. And then in the end, you guys can share your versions of the form in the chat, and we can look through a couple ones to see the kind of changes that you have made. Ms. Siram, I think I'm done with demonstrating. If anybody has any questions, we can go to the questions first, or if you guys want to start trying, I can just put the link over here as well. Let me just put the link in the chat and we can start,
Yes, I think you can share the link in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. Remember, please, I'm asking everybody to make a copy first in your own drive. Make a copy for your own self and then work on it rather than working on my version, because then it will make a mess because everybody will be working on one single form and that will not allow you the same kind of freedom. There you go. I've shared the link of it. Now, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them as well. Yeah, I think we're done. We discussed accessing, we discussed creating, we discussed the customization options. Sharing access is discussed in detail. Collecting the responses, we can go through that. Connecting a Google Sheet. We discussed that option over there. There was a green button in the responses tab that allows you to connect it to a Google Sheet. And then right now we're doing hands-on practice and a Q&A. You guys can drop the questions in the chat, and you could also, by raising your hand, unmute yourself and then ask the questions. I'll move to see what's going on. Shall I stop sharing my screen? I think it's not needed anymore,
Yeah, it's up to you.
right? Yeah, I'll stop the screen share. Now I'm free to answer questions, and I'm excited to see what changes you guys make to the form. Please remember to make a copy of the form before editing it. Make a copy of the form for your own self in your own drive so that it's easier for you to access it and easier for you to edit it according to your own preference. Now I'll be muting myself now. If anybody comes up with any questions, I'll see them in the chat and I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, guys, you have a couple of minutes, 5-6 minutes to work on the Google form. And then please share. And if you have any questions, please ask. When you're done, share the link in the chat box, please.
I want to know if you guys can see the screen. I wanted to share. We just received a response. Noor Fatima has responded on the worksheet. Although I didn't ask for a response, but it's good that you have responded. We can learn how to link to the sheets. See this button? We can link to a Google Sheet. All of the responses. Yeah, create a new spreadsheet for it. We're going to create a new spreadsheet for it, and all of the responses that keep coming in are going to be inside this form. Now the timestamp when which date and at what time she filled the form, her email address. I didn't ask for a name or anything else, so there's nothing like that here. Count the number of syllables. She just put an answer over here. Then spot the tricky words, however many words that she selected. So here are the options that she used, and this is how it looks from the users from the creator's perspective once you start getting the responses. But I really appreciate if you could also try to edit it and send a different version of the form. Maybe use a couple of the options that we have discussed in this session and try to make the form into like a different take it in a different direction and then show us. I'm stopping the screen share right now.
Guys, we have a couple of more minutes for the activity. You can also choose an image, change an image, or if you have made a flyer in a landscape form, you can also use that and show it on the, show it on the form as well on the top.
I think we should be getting done with some small edits. I'd really appreciate if somebody could share their version of it. Whatever you've made, it's fine because the one that I made is also kind of a hodgepodge, half cooked, half not cooked. So we just want to see some different perspectives on the same form. If a couple of students would share, then that would be really nice.
Yes, please share your forms link in the chat box, please.
Ms. Ram, I think the students have filled out the form. They have, I see 6 responses now
Okay.
on it. So yeah,
Excuse
5
me.
responses. So yeah,
Whenever we click on the link, it just takes us to the form which requires
the
only
form
filling. We
filling,
cannot actually
right?
edit it.
Gee,
Yes.
if you want to edit it, I told you that what you have to do is you have to press this button over here. This button over here. This will allow you to edit the form. The filling and the sharing, both of the editing and the filling, both of those things can be achieved by the same button. So you have to use this button to link to edit the form.
But none of these options actually appear. It's just a simple form we need to just fill. None of these options appear actually.
Oh,
Like,
I'm so
even
sorry. There must have been a mistake. I'm so sorry that you have been facing this trouble. Somebody should have said something. Oh no, we just wasted all of that time for nothing. Um, Let me see what went wrong. Let me
I'll
just quickly.
go to the share send link, and see if editor is on or not.
Yeah, I checked that. The editor is on. Let me show you. Add collaborators. See, anyone with the link can edit. It's the permission is on. Let me just if I send the link again, maybe something was wrong with the previous link. Let's see. I don't see how this would be different, but can anybody quickly just click on it and check if that button appears?
sure.
Ma'am, the edit button is still invisible.
It's still not visible. Oh no. There has to be some kind of way that we can make it work. But thank you guys so much. The ones who were responding, you guys did something. So that's something to be appreciated. Good job. Good job on that. Adding collaborators. I do not know how to make it more open. Ma'am, do we have time? Do we have time to maybe add a student who wants to try it? They can just put their email address in the chat, and I could do that maybe, like
Yes, I
the way that
think
I've added.
Abbas. Yes, Abbas, kindly please write your email in the chat box. You can add
If you
Abbas.
could drop your if you could drop your
Right.
email, then I would add you. I'd be able to add you the same way that I added Miss Iram on the form.
All right. Okay. Let me share my email.
Oh.
Ma'am, I shared my email.
Sure. Let me just copy this quickly and I'll paste it over there in the permissions section. Yeah. So you are added in the collaborators. Just a second. Okay. Whenever we're trying to do something quickly, then it gives you even more trouble. It's not allowing me to add it all of a sudden.
Yeah, sometimes it's the
Yeah.
internet connection as well.
Yeah, that must be what's wrong. Let me just I'll type it by hand then. I copied the email address from the chat, but now I'll have to type it by hand. Okay, Abbas Sayed dot 422. Okay. Let's go there. 422@gmail.com. Is that right? Oh, it's not getting typed either. That's sad. Let me see. Oh, okay. I 422. Is that correct? This
Yes,
is the
ma'am,
one,
it's
right?
correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You will be able to edit it now. I guess we could ask Abbas to share his screen while he's editing it. Would that be possible? Could we do that?
Yes,
Yes,
let
ma'am.
me.
Right?
Okay,
We could do that. We could see it from your perspective as well.
Let me make you the co-host as well. Okay. Yes,
In the
Abbas.
meantime, you can open it. I'll stop sharing my screen. Yeah, let's see how it looks on that side.
All right, ma'am. I'm going to share my screen a while. But first of all, I'd like to. Ma'am, should I just copy the link and go, or should I just get into my
Yeah.
email and then?
If you click on the link, it will allow you to. It will allow you to go
alright.
to the editing section. The one that you received in the email, in your email. Or now that you are a collaborator, you can use the link anywhere, honestly. You can use the link that I've sent here.
Is my screen visible right now?
Yes, it is.
All right. So I'm going to click on the
You
chat.
can go to the
Okay.
chat of our meeting and you can click the link from there as well. Now that you're a collaborator, you can use the link from anywhere. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I have opened the link, but still, this is the first that we actually got in the previous practicing session as well. but there is no editing button,
Hmm.
and there
I
are no options above there as well. It's just like kind
Yeah.
of, I'm going to fill the form.
Yeah, it gives you the same, it's giving you the same. Well, I don't know why, because when I do it from my emails, then this allows me to do it. Why don't I do it using another email of mine, and I'll share my phone screen, ma'am? Because that's how I tested the, option. Do we have time to do that?
Yes, you have 5 minutes if you can do it in 5 minutes.
Okay, let me just quickly add myself to it, and then I'll do that. Just a second. That's okay. I'll share my screen now. Since this isn't working, let's do it this way. Let's try this other way. I'm so sorry that it's giving us so much trouble. I will share this window. All right. I hope that the form is visible right now. Okay, let me just quickly add myself as a collaborator. I went over here. See, I am getting this option, but that's only natural since I am the owner of it. Let me add another email address of mine as the collaborator. Okay. There we go. I'll join from my phone. Let me join the meeting from my phone and try to show you guys from there, because joining from the browser. Serum, if you could allow me, I've added, I've joined the meeting with the name
Okay.
Phone Habiba. If you could allow me, yeah, if you could, just allow me to share my screen using that
Yes.
account
Yes.
as well.
Sure. Done.
Okay. Okay. Just a second. More captions, chat. Here is
Excuse me, ma'am.
Gigi.
So I checked out my email, and when I clicked on the file which you sent me, I'm now
Uh-huh.
able to edit all the things. But as far as the direct link is concerned, I
Uh-huh.
think it's not doable from
Okay.
there. So
Okay.
the
All right.
email is working, but direct link is not.
All right. So why don't we just then, would you like to go ahead, Abbas? Then we can just go ahead and see it from your perspective. Let's open it from your email and see. Would that be okay? Because with me, I'm going to have to share my screen now and go to the other account. So if you have already got it open, uh do it from your like perspective. What do you say? Ms. Iram, would that be fine?
Yes, it's
Should I
fine.
screen?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, you should start sharing your screen. I'll mute myself and let's see how it is from your side.
So I got it opened while using my email. I can do it again. Okay. So this is basically my Gmail. I received it here.
It's okay,
Just give me a
Abbas. You
second.
can start working on the edit.
All right. So once I click on it, it will take me to the sheet, the Google sheet, and I can actually work on it right now. So basically, for example, if I want to add a question, so I can do that. Is it so, ma'am? Like, for example, if I want a question, question number 3, and then I don't know how it works, but okay, for example, if it's going to be a short, uh, it requires a short answer, then the question should be something like, what is the capital of Pakistan. Hmm.
I'm so
Okay,
glad that this
so
is working. Yeah.
yes, so this will be the capital of Pakistan. This is going to be a short question, like it requires a short answer. And if I want to make it a required answer, then definitely I have to write it this way. And now I think it's already saved.
Yeah, it's already saved.
Oh,
All the changes are saved in the drive. You're editing the original one. You can
yes,
also make a copy of it. Yeah.
so I can actually make copy of it from here.
Yes. And then you can work on your own version of it wherever you want to save it.
Yes, definitely. That would be. Oh, it's fine.
It's fine if you don't want to save it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Okay.
It's fine.
Right. I think you can
Chale.
stop sharing now. Bas, thank you so
Oh,
much.
Thank you so much for helping us out, Abbas.
Yeah, Bas is actually a
my
presenter
pleasure.
and a host himself.
Oh, that's lovely. That's great.
Okay. Yes, guys, if you have any questions, please ask, and then I'll launch the attendance poll again. You can write any question in the chat box, and then in the meanwhile, I'll launch the poll quiz.
So I request all of you to please mark your attendance in the attendance poll.
Click on the three dots where it says more. It says more, click on the three dots and it will appear. Guys, click on where it is written more on the three dots and then click on the polls and quizzes. It will appear again.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
I, I think I cannot enter my name because I'm the host of
co-host.
this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
All right.
I know you.
Okay.
Yeah. Two more students are left. Please hurry up. Yes, Aisha, you can continue. You're muted. Aisha, you're muted.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
So I once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to the honorable guest speaker, Ms. Habiba Ehsan, for such an insightful session. I also thank all the participants and for their participation and cooperation in today's session. Last but not the least, I appreciate the efforts of our focal person, Ms. Iram Shehzadi, who is pushing boundaries to enable her students to achieve a competitive edge in the digital landscape, thereby facilitating their academic and personal growth. Thank you all for joining us today, and happy Iftari.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Ms. Habiba.